Good morning, it's December 31st. This is To My Liberal Friend. It's the last day of 2024. When Joe Biden won the presidency in 2020, the move to progressive policies hit the gas pedal. George Soros was backing left-wing district attorney candidates around the country, and when they won, they began a strong campaign to decriminalize what had previously been felonies. They moved these crimes, particularly those that were considered nonviolent, to be misdemeanors, and in most cases, the perpetrators of the crime were never really prosecuted. The result was that shoplifting by both individuals and organized groups became rampant in these Democratic-run cities and counties. Stores were eventually forced to close in some areas because they could not operate properly with all the theft. But the public became fed up with this process and decided to send some clear signals. They're not willing to tolerate this form of lawlessness anymore. Several liberal or progressive prosecutors faced significant defeats in the 24 elections, marking setbacks for the broader progressive prosecutor movement. The number one was George Gascon, Los Angeles County prosecutor, a prominent reformist district attorney. Well, he lost his re-election bid to Nathan Hochman, a former federal prosecutor. Hochman campaigned on undoing Gascon's reforms, which include eliminating cash bail and sentencing enhancements. Hochman won by a 23-point margin, reflecting strong voter concerns over crime and public safety. Out in Alameda County, California, Pamela Price was recalled after just 2 years in office. That alongside Oakland's Mayor Sheng Tao. Her loss was attributed to dissatisfaction with her handling of crime and public safety issues. Initial result showed support for her recall, leading by 30 points. Andrew Warren, a Hillsborough County, Florida prosecutor, he was ousted by Governor DeSantis in 2022, and he failed to reclaim his position. He lost to Republican Susie Lopez, who had been appointed by DeSantis. In my old home state of Virginia, Buda Barry in Loudoun County, Virginia, was narrowly defeated by Republican Bob Anderson. Anderson criticized her progressive policies and pledged to adopt a tougher stance on crime. Now, these are just a few of the higher-profile prosecutors that voters sent packing. It's a signal that many others are probably watching, and they may change their tune on being lenient on criminals if they want to stay in office. In the post-pandemic period in 2020, the spike in crime rates cemented the backlash to this progressive form of criminal justice. In the years that followed, lawmakers from both major parties passed laws that rolled back changes to the criminal justice system that had aimed to lower penalties and reduce the prison population. And in 2020, tough crime on laws, it seemed a decisive comeback. Over the past year, New York sent National Guard to patrol the New York subways. Louisiana passed a law to try 17-year-olds as adults, and Oregon, of all places, recriminalized drugs it had decriminalized not so long ago. And it wasn't just lawmakers who were eager to make these changes. In March, San Francisco voters approved ballot measures that expanded police surveillance and imposed drug tests on welfare recipients. And in November, California voters passed a ballot measure to toughen penalties for drug and theft-related crimes, while Colorado voters choose to reduce parole eligibility for people convicted of violent crimes. This change has been in part fueled by voters watching the smash-and-grab robberies of stores as they played out on television. They saw videos of gangs of shoplifters brazenly stuffing goods into large bags and simply walking out, unafraid of anyone stopping them. And if they were stopped, nothing would happen to them. Of course, progressive advocates decry these changes and view them as impulsive reactions to crimes they would not prosecute themselves. They argue that these measures are more about sending a political message than finding any real solution. But on the other side of this issue, they say recent ballot wins are a rejection of pro-criminal policies that seem to prioritize the rights of offenders over the rights of victims. Quote, this is a return to normalcy, to common sense, the fact that their IDs failed. They were bad, and that's according to Charles Stimson, a senior legal fellow and deputy director of Edwin Meese Center for Legal and Judicial Studies. He further quoted, this isn't a Democrat or Republican thing or a blue or red state thing. This is law and order versus chaos, period. Well, in California, they've seen a huge increase in shoplifting crimes, most of them well organized. The result is they've changed their laws. Prior to this, they'd made shoplifting of anything under $950 a misdemeanor, which, as I mentioned, was rarely prosecuted. That's all changed, and 3 women were arrested in Orange County for stealing about $1,600 worth of beauty supplies last week. They'd also just robbed the Kohl's department store. A video of them after being arrested shows them being surprised that it was a felony. They didn't understand that. They thought it would just be a slap on the wrist. Now, you would think that Democrats would get the message. People are tired of mollycoddling criminals. They're tired of not feeling safe. They're tired of seeing stores close in urban areas because of theft. They want the end to the chaos. They want it now. I have a wake-up call for them, and this is not just a political reaction. It's part of the solution. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, head over to YouTube if you're watching on TikTok, because TikTok may go away. I don't know. But thanks for listening.